Now many, now many, now many away Sapura mane sagotera wo wasiri emo doe arie now many sangetara wo Simba miene puto hoe tangeto irona hoe now many oro 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 kaiba now many Simba miene puto hoe tangeto irona hoe how many oro 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 kaiba now
Today, the 18th of January, marks the last day of the Baha'i calendar, Shara, honour. And today we are gathered here to celebrate the life of Thomas Ernest Morgan and to honour his memory through sharing our stories, food, conversation, tears and laughter, such that we can let his soul move on and ensure his memory remains alive within us. They say we have two deaths. One when our soul departs from our physical body. The other, the last time your story is told. When we meet someone and begin a conversation, or do a favor, or ask a favor, it is like a string is tied between our two souls. That string is a memory, which we continue to weave into a beautiful tapestry with each new interaction. Then, when the music stops for one, we are left with a mosaic of interwoven memories. When we share those memories with others, we honor the tapestry woven by our interconnected souls. Today is about that. Not spend too much time mourning the loss of Thom, but to gather together and share a rich tapestry of stories that he has brought forward into all our lives. Today we celebrate the vibrant, kind and intelligent soul that has imparted a rich substance and greater meaning on our lives just by being part of it. The family would like to thank everyone who has been able to make it here today, to all those that tried to make it here in person, and thank all those who are online with us. Our I'd like to welcome Terry, Barbara and Robert to pay their tributes. And then afterwards we'll play a tribute from Daisy and George.
I'd like to thank everyone who's come along today to celebrate the life of our son, Thomas Ernest Morgan, or Thom as he was affectionately known as. I'd like to particularly thank those amongst you who have travelled very long distances to come here today. And also I'd like to thank and acknowledge Thom's employer, Penten, who first raised the alarm that something was wrong on the 22nd of December and also have generously assisted with the arrangements today. The eulogy for Thom today is themed around his passion for life. Thom was 31 years old when he passed away. His ancestors on my side come from County Monaghan in Northern Ireland, and on his mother's side from the Combapa clan of the Orokiva people in PNG. Thom was a wanted child. When he arrived on the 5th of August in 1991 in the early hours of the morning at the old hospital there in Ayr, Christine and I were overjoyed. We had been waiting for a child like him for a long time. Thom was easy to look after as a child. He slept well. He would only wake occasionally if a sugarcane train rumbled past the house late at night, and we never had any problems feeding him. He got fed the PNG way, never spoon-fed. The food was just put in front of him, and when he finished he would turn his bowl upside down on his head sometimes, usually with food in it. Thom did his first 4 years of schooling at Ayr State School and then went on to do 2 more years at Buddingborough State School before beginning his senior high school at Pimlico High. It was there that he met his good friends Benz and Tyler. He then went on to complete his secondary school education at the Cathedral School in Townsville. And I believe it was there that he developed this passion around all things military. Within a couple of weeks of leaving school, he'd already enrolled in the Australian Army and was offered a position as a rifleman. He went down to Kapooka and then shortly after went over to Singleton to complete his training in the infantry. He was then offered a place with his battalion of choice, the 1 RAR in Townsville. Those early years with the Army for Thom were just pure enjoyment for him. We just saw him grow, develop and change in so many ways. And he found a new family, mates amongst them. He did a couple of stints overseas at the base at Butterworth, and things were going really well for him until about July 2011 during one of the Talisman Sabre exercises down at Broad Sound. He told me later that he probably pushed himself just too hard He hadn't eaten a great deal or drank a great amount of fluid in the previous 48 hours. And he was sleeping on the ground when he had the first seizure. And so began, well, it really was the end of his career and his passion for his time with the Army. The Army were good. They gave him a couple more years before he returned home in July 2013. This was a particularly difficult time for Thom. It was a huge blow to him. He'd lost his compass, he was lost, and I could see that he was also severely depressed. So much so that it affected him physically. You could tell just looking at him that he was not in a good place. After several concerned discussions, he indicated an interest in perhaps starting another career, finding another passion in the area of IT. And I didn't waste any time. That same day, I raced down to the college here in Townsville and I had him enrolled before he could change his mind. And that proved to be a turning point. 1 year later, he completed his training and the Department of Veterans Affairs were very good and they helped place him with a defence contractor down in Canberra working as a network security administrator. The next 4 years he was with Fujitsu, and then about a couple of years later he moved over to his current employer, Pen 10, working in the area of cyber security. Thom was a very private person. He didn't share a lot of things with you. That's not to say he wasn't shy of having a good talk. You could have a good talk with Thom, but at the end of it you would think, well, he really hasn't told me a great deal about himself. And he did keep a lot of things to himself. Quite often the family would not find out about a medical incident until 2-3 weeks later. In 2022, things started to look up for Thom. He had been able to secure a mortgage for a loan to move into a unit closer to where he worked in Canberra. And more importantly, he found himself a girlfriend, Awi, who he loved and trusted. Thom lived a life cut short, a life that was just coming together, but he did live a rewarding life, and he had the opportunity to follow his passion. As Federico Fellini, the Italian film producer, said, there is no end, there is no beginning, there's just a passion for life. Thom was a passion in my life, and he was a passion in our family's lives. And he was part of our future, and a future that has now died with him. Our loss can take inspiration from his experience back in 2013 when he struggled for direction and for meaning in life. Thom was a cherished son, a brother, a cousin, a nephew, and a friend who was loved by many. He will not be forgotten. Rest in peace, Thom.
G'day. I'm up about. You'll hear the words upper and a yumble. Upper means older, yumble means younger. I'd like to thank Auntie Chrissy, Uncle Terry and Rob for allowing me this today. Hi Yumble, I didn't know how I was going to do this, so I thought I'd write you a letter. When the three of us girls were small, we were playing around until we had a brand new baby brother born. For me, I was like, what? How? When did this happen? I was excited that we had a baby cousin born here in Australia, someone else new to play with and not across the deep blue sea. A creamy little hatchback pulled up in our driveway. It was Auntie and Uncle, then a small little light coloured baby coming into our home. It was you, my Yumble. First sight I knew we were in love. Then I knew, right, I'm a big sister to this little baby, and it's my job to keep an eye on you and to keep you safe. Sorry. Our school holidays. Yay, you're off to air. We're coming to see you, Yumble. Now you're 1 year old. Funny little boy, shaking your head, then bowing your head to raise your eyes. We thought you were the funniest little thing ever. Then you're 5. So much has changed. You're a big boy now. And your little voice? You were so proud of your tent that you had in the backyard. You wanted to show me. We sat and we got a snap of us in your tent. Years passed. Now we have another little baby boy, your brother, Rob. Our family is growing. Watching you both grow up and one little boy be jealous because I'm talking to you, fighting for my attention. We all looked at Rob and laughed. I remember you saying, she's my upper too. You have upper all day. My visits up here were, nope. The news came when you joined the army. Wow, biggest news ever. We were proud. Big choice. Every phone call that Auntie Bibs got, we hear how much you've done, what you're doing, and where you're gone. You were so proud when you talked about your army experience. First march out, Kapooka. Second march out, Singleton. Oh, New South Wales. That's okay. As long as we don't go anywhere near Sydney, we should be fine. Ding dong, the announcement came across the plane. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We need to divert you to Sydney due to weather. All my headaches and stress hit me all at once. I said I'll never return after I left many years ago. After a long bus ride through the peak hour, we finally got to Newcastle to get our car to drive to Singleton. An honour to be there to support you with Mum, Auntie Bibs and Upper Ellie. As soon as we walked in, we quickly grabbed those front row seats. Stomp, stomp, stomp. What in the world is that? I thought. Young, brave, selfless men and women lined up in front of their families to look up and see you front and centre, just arms reach or touching you. My biggest memory of you yet. Knowing what we're like in circumstances like this, we are unpredictable, or maybe it's just me alone. Waving, throwing my hands up in the air, blowing kisses, making funny noises as I'm doing so. Hurry with the ceremony already. I just want to hug you. I appreciate you taking the time to come and be here for our wedding. Even if it was just a short time, just for a day, we still make those memories. a visit to Townsville. Mum drove us to your place where we met you and Odin. One of your flatmates was there and you introduced us like this. This is my cousin Babs and her wife Tony. Confidently, wife Thom. Oh sorry, I meant husband. We laughed hard about your mistake and bring it up every time we meet. Picking you up from the base, step out of my car to welcome you, to watch you march out the base professionally. Must you walk like that? You replied, yes. While we're on base, we must walk like that. In the car we go, off to your accountant, music in the background. Hot chocolate, you sexy thing was playing. Mum in the back seat. Oh, is this from Full Moon? Full Moon? You know, that movie. I looked in the mirror at you, Thom. You looked puzzled. Looked at Tony. Yep, he was puzzled too. Me? Full Moon? Thinking what Auntie's thinking, talking about. Took us a while, and then we're thinking, what is Auntie really watching? Tony then, oh, you mean Full Monty? Yes, that's it. We laughed again. Sorry, Yumbo. I must finish this letter now. But I'm gonna leave it as this. The shock and realization when the police came around to inform Mum in our home of your passing. We were taken back. Didn't seem real. You were in Canberra as normal until you came home Thursday. I'm sorry I didn't keep to my words of keeping an eye on you, nor did I keep you safe. I failed. And I will carry that for the rest of mine. Thank you, Yumbo, for serving our country in military and as a civilian. My memories of you are you taking pride of your army, your games and laughter we shared through your life. Umbo, thank you for choosing our family to be yours and you choosing me to be your upper. I am very proud of you in what you have overcome and achieved. Love always, your upper.
Thom, you weren't just my older brother growing up, but you were my best friend. Remember the time you showed me that when you put your tongue on something cold it gets stuck? And so we went to Dad's fridge and you put your tongue on the freezer and you're like, look Rob, my tongue, and then takes it off and then he got his tongue off. He's like, so I went and followed him. I put my whole tongue on the freezer and then I got stuck. And then Thom's sitting there laughing at me. He's like, you can get out. It's like, I can't. So I told him to call Dad, but he's just like, no, Dad's at work. And I'm like, just call Dad, he'll come get us. No, Thom just walked away and left me there with my tongue in the freezer. So I got my hands and just ripped my tongue off. Then Dad's comes back and wondering why there's so much blood in the fridge. I was just showed, Thom showed me this trick and now I got a big hole in my tongue. I remember when you were cooking noodles in Mum's house and you're walking back with the hot water and then you spilled it on your hand. You ran straight down to Mum and all I heard was, Robert, what did you do to your brother? So I got a growling from Mum and then I got sent to my room with no food or dinner. For my 21st, paintballing with him, me and Thom wanted to be against Dad just so we can shoot him for all the bad times he made us hike somewhere where we didn't want to go. But you ended up shooting me 21 times in the back because you're of your army. So thanks for that. And when we were younger in Youngaborough, and you came back and you had lice in your head, and they were sharing the same bed and you kept itching, so Mum and Dad went and got you. They had a look at my hair, only a couple of lice. They went and looked at your hair, whole head was full of lice. So Mum's like this, nope, not doing it, shave it off. And he came back and your head was bald and I started laughing at you and then you punched me. But thank you for the memories of the older brother, sorry. But I'll miss you, and I'll be having a Jameson for you this afternoon, thinking about you, bro.
Now we're going to have a digital reflection from Daisy and George, who unfortunately weren't able to make it here today.
Sadly enough, the worst goodbyes are the ones that were left unsaid and unexpectedly. Yumble, we both fought the same silent monster which always won and left us with lack of control, worried family members, the forgetting of our medications, the crippling anxiety and depression we endured, jerking our bodies around till our muscles and joints felt like our bones were wearing away. Forgetful phone calls to let others know that we are okay, and medications with side effects. We isolated ourselves because of embarrassing moments, having to wake up in an ambulance and eating hospital food time and time again. But mostly it left us with battle scars, wounds and forgotten memories. I would like to read a little story which I think will explain our silent monster. I walk to the kitchen to get a drink. I wake up on my back. I cannot think, nor can I move. Confusion sets in and my head is pounding. Is this the end? A woman kneels down and says, "Do not move." I feel I should know her, but I've got no clue. "An ambulance is coming," she says in a rush. "You just had a seizure." She cares so much. I've still no clue why she's familiar to me. I don't know where I am, but I'm so tired and I need to sleep. I have to get up. I start to stir, but I'm so weak that I do nothing but crash to the floor. The paramedics walk in. "What's your name? Do you know what happened? Are you in pain?" I try to talk, but I cannot find the words. They talk to the woman and walk to the door. I'm in the ambulance and I start to come around. Confusion breaks in and I start to feel down. My memory starts to come back slowly. The woman that I knew not was my mother. So when someone says it's not that bad, it's only seizures, you should be glad it's not serious thing. But epilepsy is serious. Yumble Tommy passed away having an epileptic seizure. So what I'm trying to say to everybody is to look out for each other and to tell everyone that you are okay.
Thomas Ernest Morgan, just Thom to his family and friends, was born on the 5th of August 1991. It was Thom's misfortune to be an epileptic, an affliction which grew progressively worse and which meant that his stay in the army was relatively short-lived. His epilepsy was also something which was, no doubt, aggravated both by his work in Canberra and his private passion, IT, that is to say, computer work. Thom tended to be a private individual. and he grew even more private in his later life, concentrating on his work, although he would never discuss the details of that work. By way of recreation, he did travel to Thailand several times and was in fact recently engaged to a young Thai lady named Ivy. Thomas was brilliant on the computer in his private life and delighted in skillfully coding different angles into proprietary games. Although somewhat adventurous in his younger life, even aiding his friends to take a schoolmate hostage, Thom grew progressively more introspect in his later life, when he put his work before everything else. He then, sadly, passed away on the 22nd of December 2022. Vale Thom Morgan, son, brother, workmate and friend, we salute you and may you rest in peace.
In my dreams, you are alive and well, precious child, precious child. In my mind, I see you clear as a bell, precious child, precious child. In my soul, there is a hole that can never be filled. But in my heart, there is hope, 'cause you are with me still. In my heart, you live on, always there, never gone. Precious child, you left too soon. Though it may be true that we're apart, you will live forever in my heart. In my plans, I was the first to leave, precious child, precious child. But in this world, I was left here to grieve, precious child, my precious child. In my soul, there is a hole that can never be filled. But in my heart, there is hope, and you are with me still. In my heart, you live on, always there, never gone. Precious child, you left too soon. Though it may be true that we're apart, you will live forever in my heart. God knows I wanna hold you, see you, touch you, and maybe there's a heaven, and someday I will again. Please know you're not precious child, you left too soon. And though it may be true that we're apart, you will live forever in my
soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Shoulders, you raise me up
Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
I'd like to welcome whomever wishes to share a prayer, a story, or a farewell to come up now and to share the story about Thom. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I'm Benz. I'm Thom's friend from back in Mandingbara and Pimlico. Thom was one of my closest friends in growing up in Townsville. So I lived in Townsville for about 4 years. We were classmates pretty much. Grade 5, 6, 7C at Mandingbara, and then we went to Pimlico. And I always remember every morning he would come by my house around 7:30, and then I was still having my breakfast, just woke up. He patiently waiting for me to get ready to go to school, watch a bit of Pokemon. Yeah, and then got ready around 8. We left to go to Tyler's place. Then he was getting ready as well. Then we watched Hamtaro before. And then 8:30 we departed to go to school, Pimlico. And that happens throughout the year, grade 8. That was my last year in Townsville actually. Then I left Townsville around January 2005. He was one of the friends that regularly kept in contact with me when I'm back in Indonesia. Emails, he even called me. We arranged things to call. And ultimately we managed to meet up again. I've heard of his stories. He joined the army and everything, and then one time I was in Malaysia doing my work training, and he was in Malaysia, and I was actually overjoyed to have meet him, and boy, I was shocked. I mean, when I left at first, like, he's actually shorter and, you know, skinny. And then when I met him again, he was a really tall and buff, you know, military army guy. I was like, wow, Thom, you've grown so much, and here I am, just tiny. Yeah, so that we had one night in Kuala Lumpur. We had a nice dinner around in Bukit Bintang, had a few drinks, then talked until late of the night. And then the next morning he went back to Butterworth. I think, yeah, and I was in KL. Then fast forward in 2014, came back to Australia, and then I visited him in Townsville, and Christine as well. And we had a few, like, walk around for a bit, and then, like, reliving the past. It was great to catch up, you know, with him. And then I was living in Sydney back then. And then I heard he told me he was moving to Canberra for his work. So I regularly, like, I visited him in Canberra, like, catch up with him for dinners, lunches, brunch. Even when my parents came over to Australia, we drove to Canberra and saw him as well. Because we are very close, like, in my family as well. Like, I've spent time at Thom's grandfather place property in Yangabara when I was growing up as well. And Thom, like, played in our house, so my parents were actually, like, very close to Thom as well, family. Like, I was an international student, and Thomas was, like, genuinely really want to help me to, like, settle in Australia. But I told him, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it but he gave his thorough support. Like, if anything, he would be there for me to help me. And last time I met him was in 2019 with my sister. Had a late like, supper actually around 1 a.m. in Canberra. It was a really good chat. Picked him up from his workplace, like, somewhere near a border, New South Wales and Canberra. And then the pandemic happened, but we still kept in contact, talking, and I keep on saying I'll visit him again after the pandemic. But things happened, got busy, moved down to Melbourne, and next thing I knew, I heard the news that Thom has passed away. It's very difficult for me as well, and obviously to the family. Thomas, thank you so much for the friendship that you've given to me, and serving the nation as well. And I hope you rest in peace, brother. Thank you so much.
I'd like to invite someone from the Penten family to come up to read.
I'm just going to read a note, which I'll struggle through, that our CEO wrote after Thom had passed. All of us here, all of us at Penten have been privileged to work alongside Thom, and we have lost a dear friend. Following his military career, Thom continued to serve his nation as part of an elite team, protecting some of Australia's most important systems. We knew Thom through his quiet, helpful and proactive style, providing everything he could to those he supported. Thom was always happy to do whatever was needed, was always focused on doing the most important work. He was a part of us, not just a talented professional, but a piece of our social glue. Thom will be sadly missed by us all, and our thoughts go to all of you, his family and friends. One night, Thom had a seizure while at work, and he was taken to hospital, and I sat with him there. What should ultimately have been an incredible chore, sitting with him for 8 hours. It was terrific. Incredible man. A dear person. I and us will remember him. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Leon, who will lead the RSL Poppy service.
Please be seated.
Good morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Leon Jeffrey, and I am a chaplain for the Townsville RSL sub-branch, and it is indeed always an honour and a privilege to conduct the RSL Poppy service. Now, on behalf of the Townsville RSL and the Queensland RSL, I wish to convey their condolences to the family on their loss of Thom. The RSL Poppy service is a service in which we commemorate that a departed comrade has made the commitment of their life in the sacrifice of service to our nation, Australia, and we honour and commemorate that commitment. It also ensures that a departed comrade never commences on their last journey alone without company. Now, I have with me, obtained from National Archives in Townsville, in Canberra, Thom's service record, which I'll read. And it reads, Australian Government, Department of Defence, Statement of Service, full name, Thomas Ernest Morgan, service number 855768. Nature of service, Australian Regular Army, 2nd March 2009, 18 June 2015. Rank on discharge, private. Employment, rifleman. Postings, Army Recruit Training Centre, 2 March 2009. School of Infantry, 22 May 2009. The 1st Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment, 2nd of October 2009. Operational service, Operation Yazi Assist, response to severe tropical cyclone Yazi, 3 February 2011 to 12 February 2011. Honours and awards, the Australian Defence Medal, which we see displayed over here today. Now, I have the framed copy, and I will present it to the family, and I will present it to Christine too. Thom served his country well. This poppy, the Flanders poppy, it is an emblem of sacrifice. It is the symbol of a life given in the service of one's country, and I will lay it in remembrance of Thom. now ask my fellow ex-servicemen to come forward and lay a poppy. And I now will invite the family and the extended family to come and lay a poppy. Ask you to stand, but only if you are able, for the sounding of the last post, which marks the end of labour and the close of day. This will be followed by a period of silence in meditation for our departed comrade, which will be followed by the recitation of the Ode of Remembrance. We will then hear the sounding of reveille, which marks the dawn as we rise to a new day. They went to battle with songs in their heart. They were young, straight of limb, true of eyes, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget. Please be seated. Tom's body will be cremated in peace. His name will live forevermore.
Before we play the farewell song, the family would like to invite you for refreshments at the Baha'i Centre at 65 Morleys Street in South Townsville. The cremation service will be just family only, but we'd like to welcome you to the wake at any time after now, but at 12:30 we should be arriving. Now I'd like to play, or could we play the farewell song and have the bearers come up.
Hasta John, ya por caerme, ya por caerme, ya por caerme, me quita por el
Te ho mi ana tu